There's a secret that every wealthy person knows, a law so powerful, so absolute, that once you understand it, poverty becomes impossible. The law behind every fortune of the mind. This isn't about working harder. This isn't about getting lucky. This is about exact mental laws that produce wealth as predictably as planting seeds produces crops. Right now, your bank account is a perfect mathematical result of the mental laws you've been unconsciously following. Change the laws you follow, and your wealth changes with scientific precision. In the next 25 minutes, I'm going to reveal the exact mental principles that govern every fortune ever created. These aren't theories. These are laws, unchangeable, absolute, and available to anyone who understands them. Only a few people know this. Today, you become one of them. Let me ask you something that will change everything. Why does one person with average intelligence build massive wealth, while another person with superior intelligence stays broke? It's not luck. It's not timing. It's not connections. It's because the wealthy person understands mental laws that govern wealth creation. Laws that are invisible but absolute. For thousands of years, these laws have been discovered, rediscovered, and guarded by those who understood their power. Ancient mystery schools taught them in secret. Great philosophers encoded them in their writings. Industrial titans applied them to build empires. Today, you receive what was meant to remain hidden. Your mind isn't just a thinking tool. Your mind is a creative force that shapes reality according to specific, unchangeable laws. Just as physical laws govern the physical world, mental laws govern the creation of wealth. When you plant a seed in fertile soil and give it water and sunlight, it grows. Not because you hope it will, because you're aligning with natural laws. Wealth operates the same way. There are mental seeds. There are mental conditions. And when you align them correctly, wealth grows with the same inevitability as that plant. Today, you're going to learn the exact mental laws that make wealth inevitable. Not possible. Inevitable. Part 1. The Foundation Laws. Law 1. The law of mental equivalence. In a small village, two merchants sold identical goods at identical prices. The first merchant opened his shop each morning thinking, I hope someone buys today. I need money. Times are hard. The second merchant opened thinking, my products bring value. Customers are drawn to me. Abundance flows naturally. Within 1 year, the first merchant was struggling. The second was thriving. Same products, same location, different mental equivalents, different results. Here's the first law. Everything that exists in your physical reality began as a mental equivalent in someone's mind. Your current bank account? It's the physical equivalent of your mental relationship with money. Your current income? It's the physical equivalent of your mental sense of worth. Before every building exists physically, it exists as a mental image. Before every fortune exists physically, it exists as a mental equivalent in someone's consciousness. The mental always precedes the physical. You're creating mental equivalents every moment of every day. When you think I can't afford this, you create a mental equivalent of lack. And physical reality mirrors that lack. When you think money is hard to make, you create a mental equivalent of difficulty. And your experience mirrors that difficulty. Your mental equivalents are the blueprints from which reality is constructed. Here's what you do. For the next 7 days, monitor every thought about money. When you catch a limiting thought, stop. Rewrite it as a mental equivalent of wealth. Instead of I can't afford this, think I choose how I allocate my abundant resources. Instead of money is hard, think money flows to me with increasing ease. This isn't positive thinking. This is reprogramming your mental blueprints. Do this for 7 days. Your reality will shift to match your new mental equivalents. This is law. Law 2. The law of mental attraction. A master once held 2 magnets near each other. They attracted. He asked his students, how does the magnet know what to attract? One replied, it doesn't know. It simply emits a frequency, and that which matches moves toward it. Your mind is a magnet. Here's the second law. Your dominant mental frequency determines what you attract, not what you want, what you vibrate at. Every thought has a frequency. Wealth has a frequency. Poverty has a frequency. You're broadcasting one right now. When you vibrate at the frequency of abundance, thinking thoughts of plenty, feeling emotions of gratitude, holding beliefs of worthiness, you become a magnet for abundant circumstances. When you vibrate at the frequency of lack, thinking thoughts of scarcity, feeling emotions of fear, holding beliefs of unworthiness, you become a magnet for limited circumstances. Most people say, but I want wealth. Why isn't it coming? Because wanting is a frequency of lack. When you want something, you're broadcasting, I don't have this. The wealthy don't want wealth. They expect wealth. They assume wealth. They vibrate at the frequency of already having wealth. And the universe delivers matching circumstances. Think of a radio. If you're tuned to 985.5 FM, you receive 985.5. You can't be tuned to that frequency and receive 100.3. Similarly, if you're tuned to the frequency of scarcity, you cannot receive abundance. Here's the practice. Sit quietly for 10 minutes. Imagine your ideal financial reality in vivid detail. But here's the key. Don't imagine it as something you're trying to get. Imagine it as something you already have. Feel the feeling of having it now. Do this every morning for 30 days. You're not trying to attract wealth. You're calibrating your frequency to match the frequency of wealth. And when frequencies match, the law delivers matching circumstances. Law 3. The law of mental focus. In ancient Rome, there was a weapon called the burning glass, a curved lens that focused sunlight into a single point so intense it would ignite wood. Scattered sunlight had no power. Focused sunlight could start fires. A general once said, attention is the same. Scattered, it warms nothing. Focused, it burns through obstacles. Here's the third law. Where your attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, results grow. Your mind constantly directs energy. Every thought, every focus, every moment of attention sends creative energy towards something. Most people scatter their mental energy in 1,000 directions. Bills, vacation, problems, dreams, fears, possibilities. Their mental energy is like scattered sunlight, warm but powerless. The wealthy have mastered mental focus. They direct the full power of their attention toward their desired outcome with laser intensity. And like the burning glass, their focused mental energy becomes so powerful it burns through obstacles, ignites opportunities, and creates results that seem miraculous. Here's the mechanism. Your brain filters reality based on what you focus on. When you focus on lack, you see evidence of lack everywhere. When you focus on opportunity, you see opportunities everywhere. But it goes deeper. Focused mental energy literally organizes circumstances. It draws relevant people into your life. It creates synchronicities. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose. Every great fortune was built by someone with singular, unwavering focus on a specific outcome. Rockefeller focused on oil. Carnegie focused on steel. Gates focused on software. They didn't dabble. They focused with such intensity that the universe seemed to reorganize itself to support their vision. Here's the practice. Choose one financial goal, not three. One. Write it in a single sentence. For example, I create $100,000 in the next 12 months. For the next 90 days, make this your singular mental focus. Think about it when you wake, throughout the day, before sleep. Every decision, ask, does this move me toward my goal? Every opportunity, ask, does this align with my focus? 90 days of unwavering focus will produce more results than 10 years of scattered effort. Law 4, the law of mental assumption. A prince once traveled his kingdom in disguise, dressed as a peasant. Everywhere he went, people treated him as a peasant. They ignored his words, dismissed his ideas, showed no respect. Frustrated, he revealed his identity. Immediately, everyone's behavior changed. They listened. They agreed. They showed reverence. Nothing about the prince changed except what people assumed him to be. Here's the fourth law. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you assume to be true about yourself. Most people want wealth. But deep in their subconscious, they assume they're the kind of person who struggles, and no amount of effort can overcome that assumption. Because the law operates at the level of assumption, not action. Neville Goddard taught this with perfect clarity. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Live as though your desired state is already true, and the outer world will conform to your inner assumption. This isn't pretending. This is aligning with a fundamental law. Your subconscious mind creates experiences that match your assumptions, always. If you assume you're poor, you'll unconsciously make decisions that keep you poor. You'll miss opportunities, sabotage success, attract circumstances that confirm poverty. If you assume you're wealthy, you'll unconsciously make decisions that create wealth. You'll spot opportunities, take bold action, attract circumstances that confirm abundance. The outer world always reflects inner assumptions. Here's the practice. Choose one assumption about wealth you want to install. For example, I am a person who naturally attracts money. For the next 30 days, live as though this assumption is already true. When you make decisions, decide as that person would. When opportunities appear, respond as that person would. Don't try to convince yourself. Simply act from the assumption that it's true. Your subconscious doesn't argue with assumptions. It fulfills them. Within 30 days, your outer reality will begin conforming to your inner assumption. Part 2. The Application Laws. Law 5. The law of mental causation. In ancient Greece, a philosopher declared, "Nothing happens by chance. Everything has a cause." A skeptical student challenged him, "Surely some things are random." The philosopher replied, "Show me something without a cause, and I'll show you something that doesn't exist." Here's the fifth law. Everything in your physical reality is an effect. Every effect has a mental cause. Your current bank account is an effect. The cause is your mental relationship with money. Your current income is an effect. The cause is your mental sense of value. Most people try to change effects directly. They want more money, so they work harder. They want better circumstances, so they complain. But they never address the mental causes, so the effects keep recreating themselves. It's like trying to change your reflection by rearranging the mirror. The reflection will always match what's in front of the mirror. The wealthy understand this law. They don't focus on effects. They focus on causes. They don't ask, "How do I make more money?" They ask, "What mental cause creates wealth?" They change the cause, and effects change automatically. This is why willpower fails. Willpower tries to change effects while the cause remains unchanged. You can force yourself to save money, but if the mental cause is a consciousness of scarcity, you'll find ways to spend it. Change the cause. The effects change effortlessly. Here's the practice. Choose one financial effect you want to change. Maybe your income level. Maybe your debt. Work backward. What mental patterns might be causing this effect? If you have low income, what beliefs about your worth might be causing that? If you have high debt, what patterns around instant gratification might be causing that? Identify the mental cause. Then consciously change that cause. Install new thoughts, new beliefs, new patterns. Watch as effects change without force. Law 6, the law of mental vibration. In ancient temples, priests understood that everything vibrates. They would strike tuning forks and watch other objects begin to vibrate at matching frequencies. They knew all is vibration, and like vibrations resonate together. Here's the 6th law. Everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Physical, matter, thoughts, emotions, money, and frequencies that match attract each other. Your thoughts are vibrations. Every thought emits a specific frequency into the universal field. Thoughts of wealth vibrate high. Thoughts of poverty vibrate low. The circumstances you attract match your dominant mental vibration. This is why two people can take the same action and get different results. They're operating at different vibrational frequencies. One person starts a business from excitement and abundance. The business thrives. Another starts from desperation and fear. The business fails. Same action, different vibration, different results. You can't fake your vibration. You can say positive words while vibrating doubt, and the universe responds to your actual vibration. This is why affirmations fail. People affirm abundance while vibrating lack. The wealthy have mastered maintaining high vibrational frequency regardless of circumstances. They feel abundant before they have abundance. They vibrate at the frequency of wealth while building wealth, and the law delivers matching circumstances. Here's how you raise vibration. Find thoughts that feel good, activities that raise your energy, people who elevate you, environments that inspire you. Your vibration rises when you're in alignment with joy, gratitude, excitement, peace. Your vibration lowers when you're in resistance, complaint, fear, struggle. Here's the practice. Every morning, spend 10 minutes deliberately raising your vibration. Listen to music that makes you feel powerful. Read words that inspire you. Visualize outcomes that excite you. Feel gratitude for what you have. Get your vibration high before entering the world. Throughout the day, protect that vibration. Master your vibration. Master your reality. Law 7. The law of mental gestation. A farmer plants wheat in October. Does he return in November expecting a full harvest? No, because he understands gestation periods. The seed needs time beneath the soil. The plant needs time to grow. The harvest comes in its season. Here's the 7th law. Every mental seed has a gestation period before it manifests physically. Most people plant mental seeds of wealth. They visualize. They affirm. They focus. Then, 3 days later, they check for results. See nothing. Conclude it doesn't work. They violated the law of gestation. They dug up the seed before it could grow. When you plant a mental seed through focused thought, visualization, or assumption, that seed enters the invisible realm of causation. It doesn't manifest immediately. It gestates. It gathers energy. It organizes circumstances. Then, in perfect timing, it erupts into physical reality. The Chinese bamboo tree is planted and watered for 5 years. For 5 years, nothing visible happens. Then in the 6th year, it shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. Were the first 5 years wasted? No. The tree was developing a massive root system. Your mental seeds work the same way. During gestation, invisible roots are forming. Circumstances are aligning. People are being positioned. Resources are gathering. Nothing seems to be happening. But everything is happening beneath the surface. Your job? Don't dig up the seed. Trust the gestation period. Most people plant seeds of wealth, see no results. Plant different seeds, still no results. Plant different seeds again. They're constantly planting and never harvesting because they refuse to let anything gestate. The wealthy plant seeds and wait. They trust the law. They maintain focus. They allow gestation to complete. And then, seemingly overnight, massive results appear. Here's the practice. Plant one clear mental seed, one specific financial outcome. Visualize it daily. Feel it as already accomplished. Assume it's done. Then commit to 90 days of patient, unwavering focus. Don't change your seed. Don't doubt. Don't check constantly. Just plant. Water. Wait. At 90 days harvest. Law 8. The law of mental correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without, as in mind, so in reality. This ancient axiom contains a powerful law. Here's the 8th law. Your outer world is an exact mirror of your inner world, always. If your inner world is chaotic, your outer circumstances will be chaotic. If your inner world is peaceful, your outer circumstances will flow peacefully. If your inner world is abundant, your outer reality will manifest abundance. This is not metaphor. This is precise law. Most people have this backwards. They think when my circumstances change, then my inner world will improve. When I have money, then I'll feel abundant. But the law doesn't work that way. Inner state creates outer circumstances, not the other way around. This is why poverty continues. People feel poor, so they create circumstances of poverty which make them feel more poor, which creates more poverty. Perfect correspondence. The wealthy break this cycle. They change their inner world first. They feel abundant before they have abundance. They feel successful before they have success. And the outer world must correspond to that inner state. Think of your mind as the cause and circumstances as the effect. The effect always matches the cause. If you want different effects, change the cause. Here's the practice. For 30 days, focus exclusively on transforming your inner world, not your circumstances, your inner state. Practice feeling abundant. Practice feeling successful. Practice feeling peaceful. Practice feeling grateful. Don't wait for reasons. Choose to feel these things regardless of circumstances. Your outer world is currently corresponding to your old inner state. As your inner state transforms, watch outer circumstances shift to match. Part 3, the Mastery Laws, Law 9, the law of perpetual transmutation. In the darkness of winter, a seed lies dormant beneath frozen soil, lifeless, inert. But spring comes. The ice melts. The seed absorbs water. What appeared dead transforms into vibrant life. Energy never dies. It only changes form. Here's the 9th law. Energy is constantly moving from the invisible to the visible, from thought to form, from mental to physical. Right now, there is infinite formless energy in the universe, pure potential, waiting to take shape. Your thoughts are the molds that shape this energy. When you think thoughts of wealth consistently, you're directing formless energy to take the shape of wealth in your reality. When you think thoughts of lack consistently, you're directing that same energy to take the shape of limitation. The energy is neutral. Your thoughts give it form. This is the most empowering law, because it means you're never stuck. Circumstances can always change. Lack can always transform into abundance, not through force, through mental direction. Most people see their current circumstances as fixed, as reality, as truth, but circumstances are simply energy that has already taken form, and form can always change. The wealthy understand this deeply. They don't accept current circumstances as permanent. They see them as temporary forms of energy that can be transmuted every moment. Energy is flowing from the invisible realm into the visible realm. You cannot stop this flow, but you can direct it. When you focus your thoughts on desired outcomes, you're directing this energy to take the form of those outcomes. When you scatter your thoughts, you're allowing energy to take random forms. When you focus on lack, you're directing energy to take the form of more lack. The law operates constantly. Are you directing it consciously or unconsciously? Here's the practice. Every morning, visualize formless energy as golden light flowing from the invisible realm. See this energy entering your life. Feel yourself directing it with your thoughts. Deliberately shape this energy into your desired financial reality. See it taking form as money, opportunities, resources, circumstances. Do this for 10 minutes daily. You're not hoping for change. You're consciously transmuting energy from one form to another. This is the secret behind all manifestation. Law 10, the law of mental abundance in a forest. One tree produces thousands of seeds. Most never become trees. But nature doesn't hold back. It produces abundantly. A fish lays thousands of eggs. Most don't survive. But nature doesn't conserve. It creates lavishly. The universe operates on abundance, not scarcity. Here's the 10th law. The universe contains infinite resources, infinite energy, infinite wealth, infinite possibilities. Scarcity is a human invention, a mental construct, a belief passed down and accepted as truth. But it's not truth. It's programming. The wealthy reject this programming entirely. They operate from a consciousness of abundance. They know there's more than enough for everyone. They know one person's success doesn't diminish another's. They know wealth isn't a zero-sum game, and operating from this consciousness, they tap into the universe's infinite supply. Poor people operate from scarcity consciousness. They believe resources are limited. They believe they must compete for a finite pie. They believe someone else's gain is their loss. And operating from this consciousness, they experience exactly that: limitation, competition, loss. The law responds to your consciousness, not objective reality. If you believe in scarcity, you'll experience scarcity regardless of how much exists. If you believe in abundance, you'll experience abundance even when others claim resources are limited. Here's the shift. Stop thinking in terms of not enough. Start thinking in terms of more than enough. Not enough time becomes I have abundant time for what matters. Not enough money becomes money flows to me from multiple sources. Not enough opportunities becomes opportunities are everywhere I look. This isn't denial. This is alignment with universal truth. Here's the practice. For 21 days, notice every instance of abundance in your life and in nature. The abundance of air you breathe, the abundance of water on the planet, the abundance of stars in the sky, the abundance of ideas in your mind. Train your mind to see abundance everywhere. What you focus on expands. As you cultivate abundance consciousness, the law delivers abundant circumstances. Law 11. The law of mental mastery. A student once asked a master, "How long until I master these laws?" The master replied, "As long as it takes to master your mind." The student said, "But I want to master wealth, not my mind." The master smiled. They're the same thing. Here's the 11th and final law. All wealth begins with mastery of the mind. You've learned 10 laws. Each reveals how your mind creates your financial reality. But knowing the laws isn't enough. You must master your mind's application of these laws. Mental mastery means you can direct your thoughts at will. You can choose your focus, select your assumptions, maintain your vibration, hold your mental equivalence. Mental mastery means external circumstances don't dictate your internal state. Your internal state dictates external circumstances. Most people are slaves to their minds. Their thoughts run wild, their emotions react automatically. Their beliefs control them unconsciously. They're not masters, they're servants. The wealthy are masters. They command their minds. They direct their focus. They choose their thoughts. They install empowering beliefs. They maintain resourceful states. This level of mastery doesn't happen overnight. It requires daily practice, constant awareness, relentless discipline. But it's the only path to consistent wealth. Because wealth isn't primarily about strategies, opportunities, or actions. It's about mental mastery. Master your mind, and the laws work for you automatically. Leave your mind unmastered, and the laws work against you automatically. Here's the final practice. Every morning for the next 100 days, spend 30 minutes on mental training, 10 minutes on focused thought. Practice directing your mind to a single point without distraction. 10 minutes on emotional mastery. Practice feeling chosen emotions regardless of circumstances. 10 minutes on belief installation. Practice thinking from your desired assumptions as if they're already true. 100 days, 30 minutes a day. That's 50 hours of mental training. 50 hours that will create more wealth than 50 years of mental chaos. Mental mastery is the master key. It unlocks all other laws. You now hold the 11 laws that govern every fortune ever created. The law of mental equivalence. Everything physical begins as mental. The law of mental attraction. Your frequency determines what you attract. The law of mental focus. Where attention goes, energy flows. The law of mental assumption. You attract what you assume. The law of mental causation. Your thoughts are causes, circumstances are effects. The law of mental vibration. Like frequencies attract like circumstances. The law of mental gestation. Seeds need time to manifest. The law of mental correspondence. As within, so without. The law of perpetual transmutation. Energy constantly moves from thought to form. The law of mental abundance. The universe contains infinite resources. The law of mental mastery. Master your mind. Master your wealth. These aren't theories. These are laws. As reliable as mathematics. As constant as gravity. And now you know them. But knowledge without application produces nothing. For the next 90 days, commit to living by these laws. Monitor your mental equivalence. Calibrate your frequency. Focus with intensity. Install empowering assumptions. Address mental causes. Raise your vibration. Honor gestation periods. Transform your inner world. Cultivate abundance consciousness. Master your mind. 90 days of disciplined application will produce results that years of unconscious thinking could never achieve. This is not magic. This is law. Wealth follows exact laws. You now know those laws. Apply them, and wealth becomes as inevitable as sunrise. If this video transformed your understanding, save it, share it, and commit. Comment below, I commit to 90 days of mental mastery. The law behind every fortune of the mind has been revealed. Now it's your turn to apply it.